morning. Welcome to an edition of Carter's Life. Sponsored to you by Bob Clothing. The new shirts out. You know what I'm saying? So, I've been having talks with people about parenting, about holding on to things of that nature. So we're going to break it down piece by piece. First, let me say good morning to my Heavenly Father for letting me see another day. So let's break down piece by piece. So let's break down the relationship aspect, because I think that's a very important aspect that we can get through kind of quickly. You cannot be half in, half out of any scenario that has to do with relationships, because there's too much misunderstanding. Look at, if you are trying to figure something out, right? People will say, I'm trying to figure this out, trying to figure that out. And that means you need to, that during that time frame, you need to try to figure yourself out as well. You can't have stipulations and rules to it. The worst thing a person can do in any scenario is walk away every time something doesn't go their way, or they don't hear something they like. They want to disconnect from people. What that does is show the other person how much you really are not in tune with what you're talking about. Because the walkaway method is always the easier method for people than to actually sit down and hear things that you may not want to hear. I realize a lot of people may be grown in age, but they're not grown in mentality, because they can't handle anything that doesn't have to do with them directly. I was raised that if people need help, you help them, right? So if one of my friends is going through something and I ask them, do you need help, as far as me stepping in, and, because sometimes it's easier for your children to talk to somebody else other than their parent. I don't believe anyone should ever get upset if you're trying to save the life of a young person from making a mistake that you yourself probably have made, and you see it, right? When you see somebody get upset behind it, it questions their morality as far as being a parent or just a human being in general, because it's very selfish. You don't have to be in a relationship with other people to want to see their children succeed. And when you see other people have that kind of reaction, it questions you, and then you start to look at them and be like, I get it, right? You have to understand, like, you can't be one way when it comes to children. Like, children, when their parents are not able to get through to them, sometimes an outside person can. You know what I'm saying? I remember my mother did everything in her power to make sure I just didn't drop out of school, and I wasn't going to be sorry as an adult. And I was like, oh, it's just my mom talking. But a man named Robert McVeigh, God rest his soul, he sat me down one day and he spoke to me, and I got it, because he wasn't related to me. He had no true interest in me succeeding. He just cared as a person. I believe when you care as a person, it shows through life. I had actually asked somebody, so if you see my daughter out there getting ready to make a mistake that could cause her to be a hooker or whatever, you're not going to step in? And I asked that question because whether you care for me or not, caring for the kid that you've seen grow as a person is something totally different, right? So I want y'all to be careful and clear that children, sometimes when they reach a certain age, they may feel like they can handle what's about to come next, which relationships. And at this age, we're in 2020, kids are having sex at 9 years old and having babies at 11. I mean, you have to really sit down and hold this conversation. And fathers, let me say something to you. When your daughters are involved, you have to sit down and really, really talk to your daughters. Your son, you're going to talk to off top. That's a gimme. But your daughters got to know the real conversation, the real